Hey guys, welcome back to No Code Diary. If you are new here, No Code Diary is a no code teaching platform or teaching YouTube videos. So if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing the channel. So we already have a couple of videos on what no code is, what is no code development, and what are the tools and everything used to develop no code tools. I will link the video in the description or comments, pinned comments, or somewhere in the cards on the top here somewhere. So thanks a lot for joining in, and if you like the channel, please consider subscribing and share it with your friends who want to learn no code and all those things. So today we'll be learning about what is backend, and also what is a typical backend which currently people use to code and all, and how is no code backend different from typical backend development and all those things, right? So I will also create a playlist for you, which is no code backend 0 to hero. So it will be in our playlist, and you can see all the videos of no code backend, whatever tools I will link it to the playlist, and you can watch it from there. So let's get started. So typically, what is backend? So most of you have already known, but people who are new to what backend and what framework is. So backend is a layer which is typically different from the front end. Front end is what you typically see on your applications and everything. So backend manages all the server side of things. So let's say the databases where you store your data. Let's say this video which I am recording, right, it is stored somewhere in the cloud, or let's say in a database somewhere in, if it is AWS, it is in Mumbai or somewhere else across the world. So what happens is that the backend takes these databases and also writes APIs, writing APIs, deploying the code to the server, managing the databases. All these things are considered to be backend. So people, you and I typically don't interact with the back end a lot. We interact to the front end of the application. So people who are new here, if you don't understand what front end and back end is, so we already covered that in the previous video. I will it in the cards above somewhere. Uh, so coming back, so backend is where people don't interact. We interact with the front end of the applications, and backend developers who typically write the backend code. They all manage your databases, your user authentication, how do you log in, and all those things, right? So uh, some of the backend languages and frameworks, there are most probably you might have known all of these. They are Python, Node.js, C++, Java, and some of the frameworks which you currently I think typically use are Django, Express.js, and Spring Boot. So these are the frameworks and languages which you typically learn all the concepts like functions and all those things to write backend code, so that people on the front end can utilize and write, use the app which you are building, right? So backend is the essential part of your application or the development process. So you have front end, you have back end, and you also have the API layer. So API layer, so the APIs are built by the backend tools. So you write code to build the APIs, and the APIs are consumed by the front end. Uh, so how is no code backend different from a coded backend or something like that, right? So what no code backend typically does to us, or typically is that it's already a tool or a backend service which helps us to make the APIs so that the front end can consume the APIs, right? So the major advantage here over is that you are not learning all the programming languages, or let's say all the code necessary, because these people whoever has developed this tool have already made those things for you readily available, right? So for example, the database management, what type of database should you use, how much how much RAM, or how much size of the database should you use, where should you deploy these things. So these are all taken care of the tools. So there are set of teams which are already developing this tool for you. uh, so they all manage your databases. So let's say if you use a tool like Xano, if you use tool like Backendless, so you typically have these all taken care of with the click of button, right? So when you're creating the APIs or when you're managing your databases, you just click publish, and all of these databases deployments and everything is taken care of these tools, right? And these tools also give you a API builder, right? So let's say now typically what happens, you write code. Let's say I want to get the users from the database, and you write all the logic and everything. But here in the no code tools, what happens is they give a interactive tool, click wala through uh, tool, so that you can directly click and get all the things done from the tool itself rather than writing any code. So what are the main disadvantages and advantages of this approaches? So the main advantages which I can think of is that you are not abided or like you are not in a zone of learning a single language and using that language for all your projects, right? So languages and frameworks come in day. So there are typically n number of frameworks which you can learn, n number of languages which you can learn, right? So no code backend tools will not be that restriction for you to learn any language, as it is a click through uh, a kind of interactive layer, so that you can directly, without learning any languages, you can do it. But please mind that I also explained it in the next last video, that it's not that you don't know anything about code, you can come and write all these things. It's easy to learn the concept and all, and how everything works, but you should have a basic understanding of what APIs are, what is the front end, what is the back end, how are APIs built, what are functions, how are things done. So these kind of basic knowledge you should already have for writing no code backend also, but it is pretty much easy, right? So this is one of the advantage. And couple of disadvantages which I see is that the the world of no code backend is evolving, right? So it's a very new concept, and taking into consideration what backend is, it's like 10s 20 30 years of more, I think more of what backend languages are. And the backend tools, no code backend tools are very new. So currently you can write complex code, but you cannot write as complex as what a typical coding language does, right? But these platforms are evolving, and they are evolving day in and day out. So they will do what these languages can do in no time, I think. They will come, like in a couple of years you can do whatever the a language can do with a no code backend tool, right? So these are like a one disadvantage, but there can be many. So that is what no code backend tool is. So in this video I have given you a brief introduction of what no code backend and how no code backend works, what are the disadvantages and what are the advantages. In the next video we will learn about a no code backend tool called Xano.com. So this is one of the fastest and most powerful no code backend tool which I currently use and been using it in within couple of months, right? So I feel that Xano is a very good start for us to learn, and in the next video I will explaining about what Xano is, um, how is the Xano look like, what is the tool like, and also what can you do in Xano, what you cannot do in Xano. So these all things we'll discuss in the next video. So thank you guys, thank you for tuning in. I will catch you in the next video. Meanwhile, please consider subscribing to the channel, and also send these videos to your friends and family, whoever is in the development space or want to learn development and build projects. So uh, my my aim with this channel is to teach you development, so that you can uh, make your projects, your passion projects, on your own rather than hiring someone or uh, doing something and all. So this is my aim, and I will make sure that we will do it together. So please like and subscribe, share to your friends, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers, guys.